Sid, thanks so much for hopping on. It's a pleasure to be chatting with you. Before we dive into the interview, could you give us a brief background about yourself and your trading history?
Yeah, nice to see you, Koroush. So my name is Sid. I've been in the crypto space trading since about 5 years now. I started off when I first even got to know about Bitcoin and how the whole ecosystem works and all of those things. And this was when the market was like really, really bad. And I figured out there is a lot of potential in the space in general, and that's something that I wanted to dive into. So that's where my trading journey began, and what I had been doing at the time is just like what a lot of other people do, which is getting on Twitter, following a lot of influencers, and getting shit coins and things like that. So yeah, that's how it all began.
Okay, so standard entry, that's how you got in. What were the results of it?
Um, it was initially very thrilling because the market just suddenly started to boom. There were a lot of altcoins on the market at the time, which just suddenly took off. And whatever you put your hands on, you could never really lose at the
Hmm.
time. So initially, it was like I was making a lot of money, but then it all came crashing down as soon as the market took a nosedive, basically, in like 2021 or something. And yeah, so to sum it up, like a lot of initial success, a lot of thrill going into it, and I was like, yeah, this is so easy. Like it's not even it's not that hard. But then reality hits you, and then you're like, okay, like I need to do something else.
Can I ask how much you made and how much you ended up losing during that period?
Yeah. I think like in the span of like the first 5, 6 days or a couple of weeks or something, I think I probably was making like, I don't know, 5K a day or something like that. And then, when the crash happened, I had no idea of like, doing or, having stop losses or anything of that sort. I mean, I knew about it. I never really like, used any of those things. That my risk management was zero. So at the end of the day, I lost a lot of money. I think in the region of like 50K or something like that at the time. There have been like a lot of other incidences after that
Hmm.
as well, like the Luna crash, the FTX crash, and all of those things where there were a lot of like highs and like uh, really big lows over time. So yeah, that's it was
Okay.
pretty disappointing, pretty depressing, obviously, because I had a full-time job as well at the time. Um, but yeah, like it was a big learning experience for me, and it almost like scared me off the space completely.
So you were making a bunch of money, ended up losing it all because there was no risk management in place, no system, and you were making money because everyone was making
Yeah.
money. You knew what to do, but something kept you around.
hmm
What drew you to trading? What kept you around despite the losses?
Yeah, I always believed in the potential. I think in general, like I always had this notion of like doing something outside of my full-time job,
Hmm.
in tech. So I believe in the entire like the entire space in general. I do think there are a lot of bad characters in the market, and like people get fooled all the time and things like that. But I think I knew that I had the potential to actually become or like trade regularly, if even if it's like part time or something. It's just that I was always seeking some sort of a structured way of like doing this,
Hmm.
and I don't think I ever got it. Like I joined a bunch of Discord communities and things like that. They had like random content and things like that. I even looked at like a lot of the content, which was actually very helpful, that you actually provide for free for people and things. But something was still missing in my trading. And yeah, that's when I came across the program that you set up several months ago. And yeah, I know we're probably going to talk about that journey as well, but that's where I was at essentially.
Yeah, so there's no strict structure. Any tangent you want to go down, feel free to go down.
Yeah.
Uh, I find it best to just talk about it organically. So you ended up going down a rabbit hole and finding my content, but
Hmm.
do you even know what you were missing? Did you know you were missing something? Did you know it
Yeah.
was that structured you were missing? What did you think
Yeah.
was the cause of your losses?
Yeah, I think risk management was the biggest cause for sure. Even though I would try to like implement, certain things that I would learn from certain influencers and things like that, it would not necessarily work for me. Also, like having a full-time job, trying to like trade at the same time, it's not very easy, especially if you're trying to like monitor your trades and everything else. So I think like it's twofold. So I was lacking, discipline in my own life, from my side when I was like trying to like trade as well. But also like I'm kind of a person who likes to, stick to a script almost,
Mm-hmm.
where if I have things nailed down and I can just follow like step by step that this is what I want to do or this is what I need to achieve. It's almost like how you go to school, right? Like so you start with chapter one and all the way until like you finish the whole book. So that's the kind of like mindset I have if I have to like learn a new skill or something. And to me, this is what it is. This is basically learning a skill. So all this while, I was basically just finding random things, try to like implement things on my own without really having like a mentor or anything. And that's what I was missing. I even considered like hiring a trading professional or something just to like talk to them and see like how I can make this work. I think what at the end of the day when I discovered your course, like I was instantly influenced by it. Like as in I wanted to learn more about it and things like that. And I've been following you for a while, so it was almost like an easy decision for me to enroll as well. So
Nice. So trust had built up for a while because you knew my style, you knew how I operate in the
yeah,
space. So when the opportunity came, you seemed this whole time it seems like you've had the desire, you've had the motivation, you also had the confidence in yourself that you knew
yeah,
you were capable of this. You just wanted structure, something to
yeah,
follow, something to guide you through it. And you said you were having trouble with having a full-time job as well.
yeah,
That's also a problem that needs solving, and it's not that
yeah,
easy to navigate the two unless you
yeah.
have guidance. And we'll get to talking about that in a second. So you found the mentorship, you joined the mentorship.
Hmm.
Was there any hesitation before you joined? Was there anything that almost made you not join?
Um, I don't entirely like think so. Of course, like it is not a free course or anything of that sort. So it is important to take into account that yes, like it is not free, and it is like a pretty lengthy course for like about 6 months when you start off. So it requires commitment from both sides. Not just like the mentors and everything. It's also from you. And the only skepticism I had was whether I would be able to dedicate enough time myself to like do this. And the way you guys told me, and like I think like this is what you guys tell other people as well, is like it's basically like a couple of hours in a day. And then I was like, okay, I can do that. Like I can stop scrolling on my phone or something like that, and like spend 2 hours dedicated every day on this, because this is something to me. It's almost like a life investment where I think of it as a from a long term perspective. So yeah, it was a pretty easy decision. And on top of that, like I remember like seeing at least a couple of interviews that you have taken from that you've done with like current students or at the time current students. And some of those stories were like pretty relatable. I think like everything that I'm saying right now is probably you've heard like 100 times before. So because I have heard those stories, in your interviews, and the fact that they had a very similar background and similar experience with like losses and everything else, and what they wanted to achieve, I thought it was just a good fit overall.
I feel I also say this in nearly every one of these, but that's exactly why we started this. Because there's so many
Yeah,
people who have this exact problem with not a single solution on the market
yeah,
for it. Uh,
exactly.
okay, so you joined the mentorship. How has it been, and where are you now with your trading?
It's honestly, if I had to sum it up in one line, I think it's better than what I expected. So where I'm right now is I'm towards the end of the program. What I had been doing right from the beginning is, just basically gathering data on the way I've been trading or I had been trading prior to the program. And I worked with the mentors, especially Thomas, extensively, where I've been recording all my trades in my trade journal, something that I had been missing in the past as well. Putting in comments there against each trade, what I learned from there, and what I can do better next time. Journaling as well. That's something that I had not been doing before. So it's almost like enforced on you in a good way. And that's what I have been like incorporating every day. And now it's almost comes as a default. Something that I never used to do before. Like now, with every single trade, I actually make sure that I'm journaling and recording these trades, take a screenshot, and all those things, and go back and look at them as well. Look at my mistakes and like learn from them. I have been fortunate enough to um, dramatically improve the quality of the trades that I have been taking. I have been EV plus over the last couple of months or so, and I've been able to increase my portfolio size over time as well. And yeah, I'm actually going to or have extended my program by another few months. So I'm looking forward to the next phase as well.
Likewise, looking forward to it, and I'm glad you've gotten enough out of the first 6 months to want to continue with us even further. I'm glad your problems got solved. Well, many of them. There's always a new problem every time one gets solved.
Yeah.
Tell me about the things the program solved for you and how. You mentioned risk management. You
Yeah.
mentioned working, well, like
Yeah.
being able to trade while working a full-time
Yeah.
job. Feel free to share details. Anyone listening can benefit from it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think more than anything else, so like it definitely changes a lot of your habits, which is like the journaling, the recording your trades, and all of those things. Also, a lot of the content, like the video content from you guys, from all of you, with respect to the technical analysis, all of that obviously has been like very helpful. But I think the biggest component that was helpful for me is to, just challenge my own personality and my emotions in such a way that I can actually navigate through not just the program, but also like, control my own urges. For example, when the market is not doing well, or, you haven't, or you don't really see a good setup or anything of that sort, right? So, can you control your emotions? Can you not force trade? Can you just wait for the right opportunity to come by, and that's when you take the call. So those were like bigger experiences for me, and that's something that I think like as you practice, as you take more and more trades, as you learn, as you work with the mentors, and at the same time, basically when you once you create a system is when you finally figure it all out. And it's for example, like the simplest thing for me to learn, which was actually really hard, but it's simple in concept, is to just stay away. And a lot of people, including myself, like I keep forgetting to like stay away. Like I don't necessarily you don't necessarily have to like trade all the time. And those are things that figure out slowly as you progress to the program. So yeah, so all of this was like a pretty big learning experience for me so far.
Always one of my favorite things to bring people in and they ask, okay, what do I do next? It's just do less and you're going to make more money. Here's exactly how we're going to pull that off.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Couldn't agree more.
So, what's next for your trading? What's the next big challenge or the next target for your trading?
So I want to continue to like scale up my portfolio until I'm not exactly sure like what my end goal in terms of a portfolio size would be. I have an idea, but I'm not sure yet.
Mhm.
But I think I still have a lot of like runway in the sense that I have a lot of things to learn still. Um, because, I want to be at a point where, I don't have to ask basic technical analysis questions to the coaches anymore. So I should be able to like understand, okay, why is there like a volume spike, for example, like just I need to so basically what I'm trying to say is like there's a lot of room for me to still grow. Yes, the last 6 months have been like super helpful, and like it's been a huge learning experience and everything. But I have a lot of still room for growth and everything. And yeah, my end goal is to finally be able to pursue trading as a full-time job. And because I love the aspect of the freedom and like being able to like travel, which is what something I've been doing lately as well. And those are things that you cannot really do with a full-time job, working for a different company or something. um,
Has the trading helped you be able to travel more?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely it does. So like I said, even if the market is booming or something, it's fine. You don't have to, because the opportunities are there 24/7. You don't have to
Yeah.
like, let go of your life or anything of that sort. So those are the experience that, I want to have in my life. And with the freedom of doing, freedom of trading will actually, I believe now, will help me achieve all of those things. So yeah.
So, Sid, if someone is watching this video right now and they're unsure about whether or not to take the next steps and
Mhm.
join the mentorship program, what would you tell them?
I would tell them what you guys have been telling them as well, which is this is not a shortcut. This is a proper, if anything, it's almost like a boot camp where you're learning, and it's not a shortcut to make quick money and get out like as quickly as possible. If you're trying to like change your life around by you know having like almost like a part-time job or a full-time job in trading, then and you're willing to put in the hours and the commitment needed to achieve that, I think this is the perfect place, and probably the only place to work with amazing mentors who've been doing this for a really long time and everything. So if you think about it as a short-term thing, this is not the place for you. But if you think about it from a long-term perspective and think about it as an investment in your own life, then you should definitely just dive into it and yeah, experience it for yourself.
Sid, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting, and I'm sure
Likewise.
we'll chat again soon.
Thanks,
Bye.
Karu. Bye.